Hello, lovely. Today, in this episode, you and I are going to indulge. I'm going to make beet brownies. Yes, I'm going to put beets in my brownies, which these days is a classic already, but if you are not familiar with it, it is delicious. Here are my ingredients. Let's have a quick look. I have 150 grams of flour. Today I'm using rye flour. You can use whole wheat flour or spelt flour. 4 eggs at room temperature. We have 200 grams of butter, 1 cup of coconut sugar and a pinch of salt, 3 small beets, that's 250 grams, and I already cooked them. We're going to need some baking powder, 100 grams of dark chocolate. I'm going for 85% today. Then I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and these are my toppings of choice, which are optional. I'm going to top it with some cacao nibs and pecans. Today the lady at the grocery store asked if I was pregnant, probably because of my outfit. No, I'm not pregnant, I'm just making room for these brownies. We're going to melt 200 grams of butter with 100 grams of chocolate, and we're going to do that au bain-marie, which I'm going to show you. Heat low. Here I have a small pot with some water, and I'm putting my bowl with the butter on top of it. You want some space between the water and the bowl so those two don't touch. And I'm adding my chocolate to this. We want to let this melt really gently, not to burn anything. And I made this recipe before with 92% chocolate, which was delicious. Today I'm going for 85%. While I am keeping a close eye on my butter and chocolate, I am going to peel these cooked beets. I cooked them myself yesterday. You can buy pre-cooked beets these days in every supermarket. So now I'm going to remove the skin. So cut off the top and then just scrape the skin off. You can even use your fingers. Then I'm going to chop these roughly in a few chunks and put them in a food processor. Wearing a white t-shirt for today's recipe wasn't one of my brightest ideas, but I'm going to try to keep this beet free. I got my beets in the food processor jug and I'm going to make a beet puree. The beets are still quite a bit coarse, but I am adding the sugar and salt to this and blitz again. Beautiful color. So now I am adding the eggs. This is a very lazy way to make this brownie. Now I'm going to pulse this until the egg yolks get a nice light color. The volume will increase and the entire texture will get nice and airy and fluffy. So that will take about 2 minutes. Back to the chocolate. Let's give this a stir. Okay, this is looking good, so I'm turning off the heat. I have taken my chocolate off the heat so it has some time to cool. It doesn't have to cool down completely, but so it's not piping hot. I am preheating my oven at 180 Celsius. I forgot to tell that. Here I have a large bowl and now we are ready to combine. Rye flour going in. Then 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Now you can use vanilla powder in this recipe. That will make it very, very tasty, but vanilla is extremely expensive in my country, so I tend to choose cinnamon, which also helps with regulating your blood sugar, which we will probably need in this recipe. Mix this up. Then I'm adding my egg and beet and sugar mix. And gently fold this in so we still keep this airiness from the eggs. And when we have that all well incorporated, we can add the butter and chocolate. Very gently pour this in and fold it into your mix. If you have a brownie dish, go ahead and grab that. I don't have it, so I'm just using an oven-proof dish, which I lined with some parchment paper. And now we're going to pour the mix in. Oh my god. This is a problem to have these at my house. A very bad idea. This is delicious. It's not too sweet. It's a little bit earthy because of the beets. It's very airy and cakey and fudgy at the same time. That's because we whipped up the eggs really nice and airy. And I think I might need to freeze these as soon as possible just to make sure I'm not going to eat too much of it, because it is quite calorie dense. It's about 200 calories per serving, but there are no empty calories in here because it's quite nutrient dense, because we used wholesome ingredients. So I really enjoyed this video to make it for you, and I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I hope you will subscribe to my channel, and I really hope to see you in my next video. Bye.